In this video, I'm going to cover GLBP weighting and load balancing. Let's say that in my scenario that I have 3 routers. One of the routers has more resources than the other routers. How can I reflect this in my configuration? In this case, for example, router 2 has more bandwidth, and this means that it can handle more packets than the other routers. Or let's say that, for example, router 2 has more CPU power, or more RAM or something like this. What I mean is, one of them is more powerful than the others, or maybe they have different powers, and I'm going to reflect this in my configuration. But before doing anything, what I'm going to ask you is to click on that subscribe button. Also, there is a bell button there. If you click on that and activate that, anytime that I post a new video, you are going to receive it as soon as possible. Give me a thumbs up too. That's going to encourage me to create more of these kind of videos for you. There is a value which is called weighting. It can be between 1 to 255. The higher the better. And then I'm going to assign these to these routers. The default is 100. If I do not assign, that's going to be used as the default. So let's say that router 1 is the weakest one. Router 2 is the most strongest one, and I'm going to assign a value of 200. I'm not going to go to 255. Maybe in the future I will have a router which is more powerful than this. And then router 3 is a little stronger than router 1, but not as strong as router 2, so I'm going to assign something like 150 to this. Now, like I said, this is going to be the default value, which is 100. So what does this mean? This is proportional. So it says that for each 2 packets which is going to be forwarded by router 1, 4 packets are going to be forwarded by router 2, 3 packets are forwarded by router 3. Based on the values, you see, these are proportional. Now, if I change these values, so the number of packets are going to be different. And this is very important and easy to configure, of course. How can I set this weighting value dynamically? That depends on the tracking that we have. You remember from previous courses that previous lessons that I spoke about priority, and I set the priority based on tracking dynamically. The same can be done here. There is an upper threshold and a lower threshold. What do they mean? Upper threshold means that if I go above this, I'm going to start forwarding. Lower threshold says if I go below this, I'm going to stop forwarding. And I can increment or decrement by the tracking value that I have. I'm not going to do that because you already have seen an example of that, but what I'm going to do is to configure this right here. So I go to router 2 and I'm going to go to configuration mode, if I can do, of course, and I go to interface Ethernet 0/0. And then I have GLBP 1 here, and there is a value which is called weighting. As you can see, it is between 1 to 254, of course, not 255. And I'm going to assign 200 to this. And as you can see, I can have a lower and upper threshold here. Let's say that the lower threshold is going to be something like 160, okay? I'm going to be a little forgiving here. And the upper threshold is going to be of course, going to be 180. So if it goes above 180, it's going to resume forwarding. But if it goes below 160, that's going to stop forwarding. This is what I mean here. Also, like I said, I have GLBP 1, and there is a configuration which is called load balancing. And the load balancing method here can be weighted. What does it mean? It says that based on the weight that I'm assigning to each of these routers, that's going to use forwarding. It's going to be using forwarding, as a matter of fact. So this is what I have done right now. What is host dependent? It says that based on the MAC address of the host, I'm going to create a hash, and based on that hash, I'm going to decide which router is going to be the forwarder for this specific packet. What about round robin? It says I don't care about weighting. What I need to do is I'm going to send the first request to the first router, second request to the second router, third request to the third router, then it goes on and on again. Fourth to the one, to the first, fifth to the second, sixth to the third, and it goes on and on and on. Okay, so this is how we do it. But weighted says based on the weight that we have, and I just configured this. I need to do the same thing on router 3, and router 2, like I said, is going to have the default weight, and router 1, of course, is going to have the default weight. So if I just go to interface Ethernet 00, I'm going to go for GLBP1 weighting value, which I'm going to configure as 150. Also, the load balancing is going to be weighted, and I'm going to do the same thing on router 1. So if I just configure this, configure terminal interface Ethernet 00, GLBP1 load balancing is going to be weighted. That's it. So let's see the configuration so far. So what do we have? Let's verify that. So show GLBP. It says that I have here this router which is active. So what does it mean? It doesn't have any connection to other routers. So let's see. Show run interface Ethernet 0/0. It says that I have the IP address assigned, GLBP is set, and the priority, preemption, load balancing, everything is set. So can I ping 1, 2, 3, 2? I can. What about 3? I can. Do I have the same configuration on router 2 or not? So do show run interface Ethernet 00. It says that I have GLBP. I also have VRRP, which I'm going to remove. So no VRRP1, no VRRP2 under this interface, and what I have is GLBP only. Okay, so some configuration is lost, so I'm going to do it right now. Also about router 3, do show run interface Ethernet 0/0. I have lost some part of the configuration, so I'm going to do it and save everything that I have. Also, I need to enable preemption. Also, I might have a priority set to them, but that's okay. So now that I have done this and GLBP is going to start working, if I repeat this command one more time, show GLBP, now you can see that it says forwarder 1 is active, which is because of the priority that we assigned to that. It has 150, so this is going to be the active gateway, and the others are going to be listener, but they are going to be in forwarding mode. It says that preemption is enabled for all of them. Here we have preemption, also we have preemption here, and the other thing that says that they all agree that they are active. All of them are active. The weighting is 100 for this. This one has a weighting of 200, and this one is a weighting of 150, which I just set. And the load balancing, of course, is going to be weighted. So can I see that? It says that load balancing is weighted here. So this is how we configure weighting and make sure that the load balancing is going to use these values.